Mic check. Hold on, hold up. Now we got to do the reset just to make sure we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. All right. So, so we did. We back in the regular studio. We're not in the other studio just because it's easier for me in the AM to get my workout and then to come back here. It's too much to drive all the way over there. Or I got to get up a little bit earlier. But we were traveling over the weekend, had a family reunion actually. So we got back from Myrtle Beach yesterday and enjoyed that. Family is funny. Family is funny, as I'm sure you all know. But as you're joining, please make sure that you like. As Big Bro Finn just said, Namaste, my people. We have a good show for y'all today. We have a good show for y'all today. Forget the good show. We got a lot of good topics. Who knows how the show's going to end up? But we have a lot of good topics to discuss, a lot of videos to review. We're not going to get through everything. So I'm kind of going to have to pick and choose. But we had a dope video. Guy gave a speech about how our phones, technology, different things that we're living right now are destroying our spirits and therefore creating a lot of this anxiety that a lot of us have and destroying and creating a lot of the chaos that we see going on today. We have an interesting survey that I put up. I don't know if y'all got to see that one, but I put up a survey asking an interesting question just based on all this race baiting that we see nowadays. We're actually going to, speaking of that, we're going to get into this new situation where there was a kid that was stranded by his friends in Florida, couldn't swim, had a life jacket. A family came to save him because the kids left him to drown. And a lot of people are saying that this is going to be the next Nolan Wells, or could have been another Nolan Wells type of situation. And I really have no idea what's going on with the Nolan Wells situation. I've heard some things where, and this is maybe the day and age that we're living in, where you can go online and just like with the Charlie Kirk shooting, you can go online and see completely different things. Like you can go listen to Candace Owens and Ian Carroll, and who else do I listen to? Jimmy Dore. And you can hear one side that says, oh, yo, Tyler Robinson, definitely not the shooter. Definitely not the shooter. But then you go listen to some of these other people like an Officer Tatum or whoever else, maybe more aligned with mainstream news outlets, even your boy Nick Fuentes. That's funny. Even, Nick, and it sounds like more so people are aligned with that he did it. So it's all over the place. It's funny. I haven't watched Nick in a while. I came across one of his clips and I was a bit disappointed. Not surprised necessarily. Well, actually, maybe I was a little bit surprised where I thought that there would be more gradual growth, but me seeing, and when I say growth, obviously this was just a little bit of a clip, but it's more so aligned with the post that I put up as far as the survey with the race baiting. And I don't think I'd even seen the clip of him, but it's similar to what I was talking about on Friday. And I do have an update for y'all on Friday. Remember on Friday, I talked to y'all about somebody that's in our family that was using the N word. And it's like here we've gotten so polarized and so extreme that we'll go online and we'll use the N word because we're so disgusted and outraged with this particular person that we end up offending the people that are within our tribe, within our family, whatever that means, right? So I got a text from them over the weekend and said that, yo, I'm gonna, change the way that I communicate as far as using that word. And that was dope. That was dope. So a lot of things to discuss. What else do we have on the list? What else do we have on the list? Oh, yeah, we got this Umar Johnson. We'll probably start off with this Umar Johnson post that I saw. And it's just another example, whether it's Nick, whether it's Umar Johnson, whether it's Fox, whether it's MS Now, whether it's the list goes on. I'm sure y'all can name a bunch as well. Everybody is trying to get us hateful and fearful. Everybody is trying to fuel us with hate because they know that that's what puts money in their pockets. And they're getting caught up, right? It's the people that and let me be straight. Like I think that some people get caught up in it and others just do it because they know that that's what grabs attention. When I was talking about my boy, my bro, as far as the one using the N word, uh, I don't think that that was to make money or to gain an audience or anything like that. I think it's just we're getting so caught up in getting rage baited and race baited with all these things, and we got to go back to the source. We got to go back to whatever you believe is your source. Go back to whatever foundational principles, morals, and values that we possibly have that it seems like is just completely out the window. And that's, speaking of that, we're going to watch a video hopefully on some the true story of Jesus and Jesus's teachings. So we'll get into that a little bit, but we're going to be all over the place today, but hopefully it'll all make sense and connect one with the other. And by the end of the show, we'll be in an elevated state because that's always the goal. So first, let's start off with some wise words from Big Bro Finn, as we always do. And once again, make sure that y'all like as y'all are joining. Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Big bro, I'm starting to think that you're tapped in, or you hacked my phone or something like that. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I wasn't even planning on showing this. I didn't even see you wrote that. I just want to show y'all something real quick. So I had this post. Just speaking of Big Bro, man. So I had this post right here. And this is what I was going to comment on as far as Dr. Umar. And if you go back to my save post, what's the second to last post that I just saved? The second to last post that I just saved was Albert Einstein, man. Now I'm going to have to share this thread with y'all. Now I'm going to have to share this thread with y'all because I thought this was a dope thread. Wasn't going to include it. And I thought it had nothing to do with anything, but everything to do with everything at the same time. But let's take a look at Albert Einstein, man. Some of the geniuses. We got to take heed to some of these intelligent people, spiritual people. I never really thought of Albert Einstein as a spiritual person, but the more that I learn about him, it seems like there was definitely an elevated consciousness about Big Bro. So Albert Einstein died in 1955 at age 76 and was not wrong when he said, "Dirty water does not prevent plants from growing, so don't let negative words stop your progress." Dope little, words of encouragement. Seek everything except love and death. They will find you when the time comes. It's not possible to change. It is not possible to change a person without them wanting to, but it is possible to get sick and ruin your own life trying to do so. I think we all can attest to that. Whoever runs with the lie at some points trips over the truth. Nothing remains hidden forever. All right. Do not absorb all advice from elders. Idiots age too. Y'all know we always picking at the old heads. Now let me stop. Hey, idiots age too. Yeah, we get that, but let me move on. There is no need to wish evil on others. In due time, everyone gets what they deserve. Yeah, don't even worry about wishing evil on people. Sometimes you just need to disappear, take care of yourself, and never be who you were again. New phase, new life. I'm sure we all can appreciate that. Never judge someone by others' words. You could lose incredible people because of gossip. This is not that this has anything to do with me. I promise y'all, not that this one has anything to do with me. Hold on. Is it even on the screen? I'm about to say, hold on. Am I showing y'all something that's not even on the screen? Being intelligent is a curse. You understand the game, observe the lies, recognize the patterns, but you still need to act like an idiot to survive. All right. Once again, I want to repeat, this has nothing to do with me, but I'm sure that a lot of y'all can appreciate this. And a lot of us can appreciate the fact that we have to make these decisions in our lives where you'll see certain things happening. And I may actually pick on a bunch of y'all Jay-Z concert goers this weekend. I may pick on a bunch of y'all, just a little bit, poke at y'all a little bit, because it seems like when we follow our morals, principles, and values, it's these decisions that we face in life where it's like morals, principles, values over here, but then doing whatever it is that I want to do over here. And you can tell in life, based on somebody's life and maybe based on society, what the majority of us are choosing. Once again, we have our morals, principles, values over here. But then we have the entertainment, the fun stuff, whatever it is that we feel like doing over here. This is what we choose and go away from over here. And it seems like the world is rewarding over here more and more and more. And maybe this is with social media. Maybe this is just the state that we're in. Maybe this is the powers that be that are trying to control us and manipulate us with all the fun, entertaining stuff to get us to go away from all these things. But we see this over and over showing up in society. And it does get a bit frustrating. It does get a bit frustrating because it seems like, and so what, it gets frustrating. That's just part of the test. That's just, I look at that as, I don't know, but in my opinion, I look at that as it's telling the universe, it's giving out the energy, whatever, however you want to look at it, but it's saying that, hey, I'm choosing to have these morals, these values, and these principles rather than choosing to do what I feel like doing in the particular moment. I'm choosing to commit to this long term. I'm choosing to commit to all the benefits of me getting up and busting my ass when I don't feel like waking up because I stayed up late the night before, and I'm still going to work out because if I choose to do over here, I'm not going to like the results in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It seems like life is pushing us over here more and more. And it seems like almost when you're aware of these things and you maybe challenge other people to be aligned with these things, it seems like you almost put yourself in more of a hindering position based on society being so favorable to the bullshit. That's what it seems like. So let me read this again without interpreting it or without projecting maybe my own personal beliefs on it. But being intelligent is a curse. You understand the game, observe the lies, recognize the patterns, but you still need to act like an idiot to survive. This is an example, in my opinion, of men not being men. It comes back to this all the time. This is an example of pussy ass leadership. And I hate to put it that way, but I got to put it that way. I don't have to, but I'm going to. This is an example of emasculated men. When we're living in a world where you have to act like an idiot to survive, that means that men are not standing up being men. Men have chosen to turn the blind eye to all this and be okay with this. Men have chosen to compromise their morals, values, and principles to just have the comfort that comes with over here. That's what that means to me. When we're living in a world where the realness, the real people who are standing on business, who are standing on principles, are not getting rewarded, and they have a harder life and just a harder time getting opportunities, that just means that society is in a place where men are not being men. Now, the good part about this is it gives us the opportunity to stand on it. It gives us the opportunity to step up and play that role. It gives us the opportunity and maybe calls on us, the people that do recognize these things, to say, you know what? I don't care what it is. I don't care what the struggle is. I don't care what I'm up against, the challenge that comes my way. I'm standing on what I'm standing on. I don't care if it doesn't reward me immediately financially. I don't care if it doesn't reward me immediately in other ways. I don't care. That's what I'm standing on. I'm not supporting this bullshit that feeds poison to my community, that constantly turns. I'm moving more into the Jay-Z thing. So I just because and it's not calling out the individuals. It's really not. It's really calling out like, yo, where are we? Like where are we to the point where we make excuse after excuse with the BS? And then you know what? One thing that I will say with the whole Jay-Z thing, and y'all are probably wondering, like, yo, what is he even talking about with Jay-Z? Jay-Z is a cornball. He's a cornball that uses race when it benefits him. He uses the black people. He'll convince you to gentrify Brooklyn with the Barclays Center and then tell you you're an idiot for allowing gentrification to happen in your community. He'll tell people not to do business with the NFL because of Colin Kaepernick, but then he'll just try to slide his way in the back. And matter of fact, we got a video on that with Van Lathan. Hold on. I think we got a video on that with Van Lathan. We'll get into that one a little bit later. Actually, if if somebody's listening, hold on, let me send a text real quick. Let me send my assistant. Can you find the video of Van Lathan discussing Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick? Because I want to really describe that, because they were trying to, Jay-Z got upset with Colin Kaepernick, and that's why he tried to throw him under the bus, because Jay-Z apparently, allegedly, was trying to use Colin Kaepernick to get some type of ownership in an NFL team. And when Jay-Z saw the jig that Jay-Z continuously tries to push, and Colin Kaepernick was like, nah, I'm not with all that, bro. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to attach yourself to my movement to get yourself something in return, like you always do, whether it's that situation, whether it's the new Target situation, where now it's like Jay-Z's coming out saying like black people are stupid for boycotting Target. And a lot of people who were telling us to boycott Target, now they're saying the same thing because they want to support Jay-Z. But all of these things continuously happen. And for whatever reason, we just say, nah, I'm going to keep supporting him. I'm going to keep supporting that man. We put whatever principles we want to the side. And those are the same niggas that then go and complain about racism. I better not hear anybody who went to that goofy ass Jay-Z concert. I better not hear you say anything about white supremacy, racism, or any other bullshit like that, because what is Jay-Z responsible for? Jay-Z is responsible for pushing a culture that gets our young kids on drugs, our young kids selling drugs, getting locked up, getting involved in whatever drug culture that is. So maybe being lucky is getting locked up. You may end up dead. Then what he comes out, he uses the black community like no other, right? But then we celebrate him and put him on some type of pedestal like he's some type of god in our community. And then everybody wants to go dick ride Jay-Z and go to his concert like he's something that has brought something positive to our community. Everybody knows he's a snake. And it's just like, yo, this is the type of ignorant nigga mentality that keeps black people in the very same position that we complain about being in. But then we want to go complain about the white man. We want to complain that, oh, it's the white man causing us all these problems, when it's niggas like Jay-Z that we continue to support, that continue to throw, what's the, I don't know, the banana in the tailpipe, like that continue to just fool us and manipulate us while we just sit there like dumb, like little dogs, just following whatever he does. Once again, it's not personal, but I got to speak on it. I got to speak on it. And if I ever get involved in some dumb shit like that, I hope that y'all call me out on it as well, because it's corny. It's corny. And once again, another example of us not having any leadership. Don't y'all see over and over and over all of these different situations? It's when men are not being men and standing up in these leadership positions. Over and over, we see it. It's a grown man dick riding Jay-Z, but then saying that they're there for the youth. They're, oh, I'm here for the young black kids. How are you here? Like, yo, we can't have everything. And everything that we do in society, we want everything. We want to be able to eat bullshit, not work out, but then still have a good life. I mean, a healthy life. So therefore, we end up taking dumbass Ozempic, getting surgery, putting our body at risk. And it's like, damn, we can't have everything. But you want to know why people believe that they can have everything? Because a grown man did not keep it real with them and tell them that this is how life works. You make certain sacrifices and you get certain outcomes. You can't have everything. It is what it is. But nobody told you that because they'd rather be liked. And when you tell somebody, just like you tell a little kid, hey, you can't have that ice cream. You can't have that candy. You can't have, the little kid gets mad at you. And this is what we have, a bunch of grown-ass men portraying themselves as leaders, but mad that little kids are getting mad at them, the people that they're supposed to be responsible for leading in a positive, healthy direction. You feel me, Mom? She said she feel me. Hey. Yeah, you feel me? All right, let's get on to this. Hold on. Let's get on to this, man. My fault. I done went off on another tangent. Let me Yeah, being intelligent sometimes is a curse, man. Let's Big Bro Finn wrote, Christ is not a person's name. It is a title signifying the attained state of consciousness, the realization of oneness. Hold on, let me turn. I gotta zoom in. With Paramahansa Yogananda. Yo, I like Yogananda. I've been tapping into a bunch of his videos, but this is something that a lot of people I know are not aware of. Exactly what you just said. Christ is a title. It's a certain level that you reach when it comes to consciousness. It's a certain level that we reach. Hold on, let me. I got this. Hold on. I know for sure. Maya just sent me over this. I'm not saying it was Jay-Z. Hold on, Maya just sent me over this Jay-Z thing. Hold on, let me see if I can play it for y'all. Now that we on this cornball, let's actually hold on. Man, standing on bit, man. Yo, shout out to all the people that stand on business, man. Shout out to all the people that stand on morals, principles, and values. Shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to no matter what anybody else is doing, you do it because that's what your morals tell you should do. All right, let's take a look at this video.
Sure. I'm not saying it was, I know for sure. I'm not saying it was Jay-Z. I can't say that Jay-Z did anything, right? But I know for sure, that Rock Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. This is another story where I give Harvey a ton of credit, right? So I'm at my desk one time. This is after the Rock Nation NFL deal has been announced. And give Harvey more credit than just with how he played this. I'll give him credit for the fact that he goes, hey, I just got this information on the phone. I know who was on the other end of the phone. I know who Harvey's Rock Nation contact is, right? I just got this information on the phone. And all of these things about Colin Kaepernick is what I just got told, right? He comes over to me and he tells me all of these things. And it was the whole Colin Kaepernick doesn't really want to play narrative. Like Colin Kaepernick didn't go to this training or he sabotaged himself this way or whatever. Actually, it was the same thing that people had started to hear on First Take. And it was a narrative that was getting around because either it was coming from what I thought at first is that either it was coming from players that had played with him or people that knew things. I don't know, but I had heard it before, right? And Harvey comes over to me and he says all of this stuff and he's like, yeah, did you know that he actually doesn't really want to play? And I looked at Harvey and I said, look, I don't think that we here at TMZ should be getting in the middle of what's going on between Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z. I think if we run what essentially was a hit piece on Colin Kaepernick, I don't think we have the culture.
I am the savviest of mics in this. I am.
All right. Hold on. I don't know if somebody sent me this, so I may have to skip ahead. Hold on. Is it more? Hold on. Let me skip ahead to get back to Van Lathan. My fault. Shout out to whoever the creator is.
The Jay-Z part of it. Obviously, that's there before to say that.
And said, pay it. Now we here.
Appreciate you.
And
bro.
she was talking about Nicki Minaj's claims about a smear job that Jay-Z had against Colin Kaepernick. All right. I have to say this. I think the thing here, and I've told this story before, I think the thing here is the Jay-Z part of it. Obviously, that's the biggest deal. But when Nessa's talking right there, there's a part of me that feels bad about letting her be on her own with saying that. And this is the reality. This is what happens, at least in what happened, at least in this one instance, because I was there. I know for sure. I'm not saying it was Jay-Z. I can't say that Jay-Z did anything, right? But I know for sure for sure that Rock Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. This is another story where I give Harvey a ton of credit, right? So I'm at my desk.
All right, so then we go. All right, so I think we heard. I think they played the second part, first part. Doesn't matter. Y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. And then Jay-Z goes up there and signs a deal with Roger Goodell in the NFL and tells the world without even talking to Colin Kaepernick that we're beyond kneeling. This man never took a knee, and he tells the world that he's beyond kneeling. And you know what all the niggas did when I'm talking in my group chat? Let's give Jay-Z the benefit of doubt. Because that's what niggas do. I am so sick of black people are some of the most embarrassing people on this damn planet. And I have to say it just like that. Look at what we do. We go and support the people that go kick Colin Kaepernick's back in. I remember being in my group chat. The niggas in my group chat couldn't stop watching the NFL for the one preseason game. It was the preseason game. I had homies in my group chat talking about, yo, we boycott, or the boycott, talking about the boycott. They didn't make it to the first half of the next preseason game. But then we want to blame the white man, white supremacy. And these are the same type of people that then create diversity programs for underprivileged black kids. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is going on? The same people, literally my friends, the same people that are sitting here supporting Jay-Z and giving Jay-Z the benefit of doubt, those are the ones that will go and create programs for black kids and go get money and support for and guilt trip white people because white supremacy is keeping black people down. And then I'm over here with 14 of y'all trying to figure this thing out. Like, yo, because niggas don't want to hear what I have to say. I've known this for a very long time. Black people in leadership do not want to hear a nigga like me talking. Because for me, it's like simple. I see a problem. Okay, what's the solution? Just like when it comes to sports. If I have a problem, if I'm not playing enough if I'm trying to make the NFL, if I'm trying to make my college team, if I'm trying to do better, I'm not going to start looking at what the other team is doing. I'm going to look internally about the things that I'm doing, the things that are within my control. Can you imagine being on a team and matter of fact, this is how a lot of it is. And we're over here trying to figure out why we're losing, why we continuously have losing seasons. And then we keep looking at everybody else. Well, Villanova's just so good. Richmond's just so, like, how weak is that? But that's what happens when it comes to society across the board. I'm over here. I'm like, yo, okay, we need to change this. We need to change that. Why are we supporting this person? Why are we still giving this person money when they keep kicking our back in and going directly against the cause that we say that we're fighting for? And those are the same people that will then they'll get celebrated and clapped for. And I'm like, yo, you supporting the very same niggas that are doing the thing that you say that you're fighting against and you're getting funding for. And meanwhile, I'm over here like scratching my head trying to figure this thing out. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's why, that's why black people are at the bottom and will continue to be at the bottom. Because when something happens for us, we can't even boycott one game. You know why the NFL decided to bring Jay-Z in? It wasn't because of black people. It was because white people were boycotting as well. Look at what happened. This is why I respect other communities. Jewish people would never tolerate something like that. See, we'll complain about Jewish people. See, and this is why we have to be very careful to not get too polarized and not get too emotional. I understand that I'm talking with passion, but be clear, I'm not emotional when I'm looking at this type of thing. And I'm gonna tell, well, I guess that's for y'all to decide. But put it this way, I'm logical enough to be the same person that will call out the genocide that I believe is being committed by Jewish people, but I'm also going to recognize the certain aspects of Jewish culture that allows them to have this same power that all of us just complain about. I'm the type, I'm going to look at them and say, yo, what are they doing? They don't let anybody violate their culture. They will come together as a group, come together like Voltron, whatever the term is. They will come together as a group. When somebody threatens them, they will come. If they feel threatened, if their culture feels threatened, if something, they come together. And they will stand on whatever that hill is together. Look at the LGBTQ community. If you come at them, they are standing together. Look at all these other groups, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Muslims, whether it's like, Lord. What do Black people do? We're going to celebrate the people that destroy our culture the most. We're going to give them our money. They're doing it right in front of our face. We're going to give them the benefit of doubt. Perhaps when people talk about Black people being not as intelligent, having a limited IQ, like, damn, what are we showing? Maybe this is the reason why none of us know our great-grandparents' names. Maybe this is the reason why none of us know what religion we were practicing before 300, 400 years ago. But Jewish people can trace theirs back thousands of years, or however you look at it. Maybe this is the reason why we know absolutely nothing about our history before being in chains and shackles in America, and still allow that to limit any progress that we want to make right now. Maybe it's not anybody else holding us back. Maybe it's just us holding us back. I'll accept whatever religion the people who enslaved me, they enslaved me and they oppressed me and they put me in chains and shackles. And these are the same people that I'm still complaining about with white supremacy. But I'm going to still praise the same Lord and Savior Lord and Savior. He's going to save me. The same people, the same thing that I was enslaved based on is going to then free me. See, we're the type of people that will allow these goofy ass pastors to convince us to boycott Target, right? Okay, we're going to boycott Target because they got rid of DEI. We're going to boycott Target because they got rid of DEI. Remember we let all the Jamal Bryant and all those pastors convince us that? Why don't we boycott the Black mega churches? What the fuck are they doing for us? Oh, you can't say anything about that, right? It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. This is why nobody likes me, bro. Because I don't like, truth is truth. Principles are principles. Yeah, my Jewish friends, they gonna get mad at me because y'all committing Israel's committing a genocide. Like, I don't support that. What do you mean? I thought you were a friend of the Jewish community. What? I'm not a slave, bro. I have my own opinion. I think you're bugging. Don't you want your friend to keep it real with you? Oh, no. Okay. Black people, you're offended. Why are you calling Black people out? You can't call Black people out in the what? Well, bro, isn't that like, I grew up in a sports culture. Like, you call out bad behavior. Like, don't take it so personal. It's constructive criticism. Like it. Oh, man. It really bothers me. It really bothers me. It really bothers me. But I really feel that I was born in this generation for a reason. Or matter of fact, I shouldn't even say that. That's goofy. I just feel like no matter when you're born, no matter where you're born, there's certain things that you're going to see as problems, and there's certain people that blame everybody else. There's other people that want to act like the problem doesn't exist. There's other people that, well, I'm just going to get mine and worry about me. And then, I'll lead by example, but I won't ever say anything. Cool. That's to each their own. There's people that fall in different categories. And right now, the emasculated, feminine, pussy ass men are being rewarded. And I have to accept that. I have to understand that. I have to accept that that's the current state of things. So you can either be an emasculated man and adjust and adapt to society and let everybody celebrate your emasculation and contradictions and just live life and just have fun, bro. Like, don't take life too seriously. Just have fun. You could do all these things. And then you could say, yeah, we just blame white supremacy. Just blame slavery, bro. Like, just do this. Matter of fact, let's get off of this post. Just be like this. Be a grifter like Dr. Umar. Let me show y'all this post. See this, and this is also what happens when you grow up. See, society is dominated by so much bitch assness. And I apologize that I'm cursing so much. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry that I'm cursing so much. But I just, it's like, it's right in front of me. I gotta be real with y'all, man. And life is short. So we never know, we always, and I see that a lot of people do this. A lot of people think that they can compromise their way to success. And then once they get successful, they're going to become a real person. No, you're not. You're going to be conflicted. You're going to hate yourself, or you're going to just try to convince yourself that everything that you did, you had to do, and ignore the fact that, deep down inside, you sold out. Deep down inside, you sold out. I'd rather be broke financially. Let me show y'all this Dr. Umar. This is what Dr. Umar posted. This is what Dr. Umar posted. Black people cannot have white friends. The structural and psychological realities of racism make it so. The sooner we shed our colorblind religious indoctrination and accept this fact, then the sooner these tragedies can stop. Let me actually go to, hold on, I want to go to this post that I put up, that poll that I was talking about. Let me show y'all this poll real quick. Excuse me. So I put up this poll. How many people did we have? So we got 40 votes. Not bad. So I put up this poll, as y'all can read. I'll read it anyway. Let me see if I can find it. Are you tired of all the race baiting in society? It seems like the powers that be are using their political figureheads to divide and conquer us. That way we hate each other and are too busy fighting amongst ourselves to realize the people in control are the ones causing all these issues. It seems like the same money sources are funding Democrats and Republicans to get us as extreme as possible, and the algorithms all reward it because the race baiting makes us emotional and draws us into the BS. But what do you think? So 75%. So you could tell the answers that, well, these are the options that I gave. Yes, it's silly and we should wake up and come together. No, they're not. No, they're not race baiting. Our races just make us different. That really bothers me. I got to keep it real. That 18%, even though it's 18% compared to the 75%, it really, that's, I get it. And I'm not saying that it's not true. But period, it is sad. I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it. All right. So let me go back to the Dr. Umar post. That's what I see when I see this post. And it's a shame because what happens is Dr. Umar is no different than a black pastor. He's just pushing a different message. He's no different than a black pastor. These black pastors, they get us indoctrinated at a very young age. I remember looking at the pastor and thinking like, oh my God, he had so much knowledge. Like he was just so smart. Like he was actually speaking God's words. He was my connection to God. He was my connection to freedom. And in a lot of ways, that's how people look at Dr. Umar. He's their connection to freeing themselves from the current structure and society that they live in. And he uses that intelligence and gift of gab to manipulate us, whether it's into giving him money for 20, 15 years for a school that still hasn't opened. Maybe that's why, I don't know. Maybe that's why the bank froze his assets. He makes excuse after excuse. This is the same black guy that is proudly calls himself the most, what does he say? The most viewed activist and speaker, the most requested speaker in America or throughout the world, whatever he says. He says that because he comes from the lineage of Marcus Garvey and there's somebody else in his family, they're the most impactful black family in the world or something ever in history. And it's like, bro, you are a deadbeat dad. Your daughter came out on Instagram and exposed the grift. She exposed you. She said that you have never been in her life, but you're making a living off of telling black people, black parents, black men how to be men. And that's not the worst part. The worst part is black people do exactly what we did with Jay-Z. We give him the benefit of doubt. Why? Because he feeds into our emotions. He entertains us. We're drawn to him. We remove all principles, morals, values, and everything that we see as righteous here. We'll compromise those things to follow him over here. Because it's so hard for us to just call out the BS amongst our own people, especially when we feel that we have somebody who speaks for us. He represents us. So now I'm going to just give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to look the other way when I see him doing some BS. I'm going to lower my standards for the people that we hold in the highest regards. How does that make sense? How do we lower our standards for the people that we hold in the highest regards? There's people out here listening to Dr. Umar more than they are listening to maybe honorable people in their family, maybe their parents and whoever else, knowing that Dr. Umar a deadbeat dad and still will follow him, hold on to every single word that he has and lower the standard for him, but then have crazy standards for people that are within your life for them to follow you. It's like you could have an honorable person in your life who's standing on truth, standing on whatever principles, right? But you lower this, they have to have the higher standard. The people that you know, the people that you grew up with, the people that are your family members. But then these other goofies that we follow, we lower the standards for them, but just follow them blindly. I don't get it. I don't get it. Black people cannot have white friends. The structural and psychological realities of racism make it so. The sooner we shed our colorblind religious indoctrination and accept this fact, then the sooner these tragedies can stop. Like, come on, bro. We don't even know what's going on in this situation. Maybe there are some racial dynamics to it. But the fact that you see the regular grifters coming out the woodworks, you got Ben Crump, you got Dr. Umar trying to take advantage of it. Al Sharp did all the people. It's like, let's look at some of the comments. And I'm glad that when I went through some of these comments the other day, that there were people that actually were calling him out. So there's obviously some people, well, not obvious based on what I've been saying. You may have heard me and thought that everybody was supporting him, but some people did call it out. Others, it was back and forth. So let's see. Patriotic baddie. Nah, this is way too extreme, even for you, Unc. But look at how people respond. No, it's not. The proof is in our faces. We can be cordial, but never friends. Yeah. The proof is in our faces. This is how easy it is to control people. This is how easy it is to control America, the world. We see one thing. Look at how easy, and this is not just a black thing, this particular way of thinking. Look at how easy it was for us to get convinced after 9/11 that we should just kill all brown people in the Middle East. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if women and children or men, and I hate just saying women and children. It doesn't matter how many people we have to kill. It doesn't matter how many people we have to kill because they sent a plane in our building. We care enough to formulate an opinion that it's okay to kill every single brown person in the Middle East, even though we're going after the wrong country who we claim was responsible for it. We're actually going after the country that was fighting against them. Why? So we can go. It's all for resources. At this point, we should be aware of this. I think Big Bro Finnis spoke on this. You know, we got people over there guarding poppy seeds. What do poppy farms have to do with any of this? I thought this was about them flying planes in our building, but that's low surface level thinking. But once again, people get so emotionally engaged to where we can hate that type of people. And you're lying if you don't acknowledge that after 9/11, you didn't fall victim to all the manipulation, all the propaganda that had you looking. Next time you were on a flight and you saw somebody coming through with the hijab or whatever hairdress, Muslim hairdress, and you like, oh shit, like, yo, you looked a little funny. So we care enough to hate and formulate an opinion on all those people, but we don't seem to care enough to actually look into what actually happened 9/11. How many documentaries have you watched? We'll watch every single news station about what they report happened on 9/11, why it happened. But we don't care enough to just maybe watch a 10-minute, independent documentary on YouTube about it. We don't care to ask questions and say, well, if it was Osama bin Laden, then how did we go after, like, what did that have to do with then Saddam and all this? Like, I'm trying to connect all this stuff because we have enslaved minds. We are gullible people, and us being gullible tends to get rewarded when we look the other way, when we compromise our morals, principles, and values. But then we want to say that we're Christians. Then we want to say we're Muslims. Then we want to say that we want to say that this is, and I saw a post earlier. That's why I put it on the screen, even though it wasn't relevant to what we were discussing at the time. But I put that Judeo-Christian values in the title on purpose because it's BS, bro. What is Judeo-Christian values? How do you get manipulated into believing that America was founded on Judeo-Christian values when literally Jewish values are based on the Old Testament, Christian values are based on the New Covenant, the New Testament, which completely contradict each other? But we were founded on Judeo-Christian values because you want to know what? We were. What we were really founded on, if we want to keep it real, we were founded on Jewish principles, Judeo principles. The values of this country, America, what we were founded on, if we're just keeping it real. If we're just keeping it real. And this is why you have to be able to look at both sides of this. We just celebrated 250 years. I just saw a post. Let me see if I saved it. Hold on. Hold up. Let me see if I see this. I just happened to save this. Y'all see it on the screen? We were founded 250 years, right? I mean, America. We just celebrate 250 years. July 4th. What date is that? My fault. I got to zoom in on my computer. 1836. 1836. I don't want to do the math, but how many years ago was 1836? 190 years ago. We were not founded on Christian values. It's not okay to enslave people in the New Testament. That's Old Testament. It's okay to enslave people in the Old Testament. Those are two contradicting things. Those are not the same values. The same values that okay and allow slavery and tell you you can beat the shit out of your slave as long as they don't die on the next day are not the same values to where you treat others how you want to be treated. You have this Christ consciousness, Jesus's principles. You think Jesus was condoning slavery, bro? Let me get back to what I was, where was I with Dr. Umar? We were founded on Judeo principles, Old Testament principles. If we're just keeping it real, people may get mad at me for saying that, but yo, how is it not the truth? All that manifest destiny, that might is right stuff, doctrine of discovery that says that we can go and take your land and we can grape and pillage and do whatever it is to your women and kids. That's not New Testament. How they spread Christianity is not New Testament. They were violating Jesus's, Yeshua, whatever you want to call, they were violating Jesus of Nazareth's principles. But this is what so just like now we buy into the bullshit, then we were buying into the bullshit. We were consulting with our convenience. As a white person, if I'm white in 1836 and we're celebrating Independence Day, and I see, even if I don't own a slave, but I see that there's, the most powerful people in town, they own slaves. You think I'm about to, those white people are supposed to step up and say, you know what? This is wrong. I'm going to step up and call out the most powerful people in society. And I'm going to call them out and I'm going to put an end to this. I don't care if I got to risk my life for it. We supposed to do that, but niggas can't even stand up against Jay-Z. Niggas can't even sacrifice a little fun, but we expect white people to stand up against slavery. And the most powerful people in their community, like, knock it off, bro. This is, yo. I've had black friends that did me dirty and white friends that had my back like I was blood. I'm glad that this person wrote that. I'm glad that this person wrote that, because keeping it real, all the people that I'm being real with y'all. I've been disappointed in far more black people than white people. And people can say, oh, well, that's because you allowed the black people the opportunity to get in closer to you to be disappointed by them. No, I'm not talking about friends necessarily. I'm talking about black people in positions to provide opportunities to certain individuals that are passionate about doing the things that those people say that they're standing up for, that they campaigned on. But then when you get in that position, you want to gatekeep it for other black people because you're scared to pass the baton to a younger nigga that can run faster and farther than you. And if a white said this, vice versa, we call him a bigot. That's a fact. And this is what I say all the time, bro. We've gotten to the point where Democrats and liberals have pushed black people and have provided so much victimhood cover for black people and have made it okay and have told black people that, hey, the way to solve racism is to be racist. Oh, you weren't given opportunities because you were black. Okay, let's solve this problem. Let's just give opportunities to you because you're black. That doesn't help anybody. All right, let's move on to this next video that I wanted to show y'all. Speaking of this exact situation. So speaking of this exact situation, and once again, I'm glad that we are never safe being the only black person at a party. White people will never go against each other, especially when it comes to black people. Pay attention to this post, and then we'll move on to the next one. White people will never go against each other, especially when it comes to black people. They can be a part of something that they know is wrong, but they won't say anything or stop it. They may even like the black person, but at the end of the day, whiteness trumps loyalty any day. You could change the whiteness and put entertainment when it comes to black people. Entertainment trumps loyalty and principles all day. What makes me have a good time trumps. But let's keep that same, keep this energy into the next post. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this thing up. So I told y'all about a recent situation that happened. Man, I know that I'm not keeping up with the I apologize. I'm not keeping up with the chat as much. I really do apologize. Let me see if I can pull this post up. All right. Got it. Let me share this tab instead. Boom. Let me redo this. Okay, so this is the recent situation that occurred. Young man was stranded. I'll let y'all play the video. I mean, I'll play the video and let y'all see it for yourselves. But a young man was stranded and critical. I don't even know what you're responding to, saying that's all humans, but I agree. I don't even know what you're responding to, but I agree because it is. We see the same things and different people based on being in different. How can I put this? Actually, I don't know. I get, put it, when people, because I'm in my mind, I'm looking at the difference between, let's say how, and you can't really compare the two because they are different circumstances. So I guess I still agree with you saying that that's all humans. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, when I see black people embrace what victimhood does to black people seem to respond in a different way than I see maybe with, how Jewish people responded. And that's different. That was more of a Jewish people still held on to their identity. Let's move on to the next video because I feel like I'm not. I don't know if I can explain what I'm trying to say on that one. But let's take a look at this video. You guys let me know what your thoughts are. Young man, and keep in mind that last post that woman, I think it was a woman that posted on Dr. Umar's post when she said that white people with a Y, white people will never go against their own. They will never go against their own to come to the aid of a black person.
Yeah, they think I'm about to go back, but I can't swim.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
I'm gonna die.
Standing right
Hold
now.
on to the
You have to go
board.
on.
I'm just trying to
You did that to get over there. We taught him how to swim.
Oh, so I can just hold on to the back of the board.
Right here if you want.
Yeah, I might drown.
You won't drown.
You want
Try to get
You're not gonna drown.
All right, so now we're going to go to the beginning of the video. So we just reset the beginning of the video. So pretty much there's this white family that y'all will see and are seeing, just to give a little context, because that part of the video was dark, where they come to the aid of a black kid who his friends are yelling, talking about, we taught you how to swim, which is, that's goofy. Look, I don't play these water games, bro. And I don't think anybody should be playing these water games. If you, first off, you shouldn't be on the water on a boat with anybody that you're not totally comfortable with. And if you don't have a super responsible adult, I'd say an adult on board, then if you can't swim, you have no business getting on a boat with a bunch of kids, your friends. Also, it is very irresponsible as parents to not be teaching your kids how to swim.
I ain't got the walking class. You gotta learn how to swim. Fucking walk.
Fair, we tell them to hold on to the back.
But you can swim downriver, you fucking retard. I think I'll stay here. Bro, how am I gonna get you back home? You don't think Mama Marquise is gonna be worried? Yeah, your mom. My mom's name. My dad's your mom is always worried about you.
My dad's in prison.
I think that's why.
I don't know if y'all just heard what was said, but he said, "Oh, your mommy and daddy gonna be worried about you." His friend was yelling, and then he responded and says, "I'm about my mommy." And it sounds like let me not place too many judgments on the black kid, but why the black kid then responds and says, "My dad's in prison," and then repeats it, "My dad's in prison." Like, it sounds like one of these little weird kids that, in a weird way, tries to fit into his maybe white friend group and like says certain things that poke fun at himself. You ever been in a situation like that where it's like, I'll make fun of myself to fit into a group, and that way they won't make fun of it, but they'll still make fun of it, but at least I'll kind of make fun of myself to act like it's okay, them making fun of me, whatever. So that's what they're saying. Why he felt the need to even say my dad's in prison, like weird. Let's keep going.
Your dad's in prison, we know, we can tell just by looking at you. Bro, we getting you pants clear.
Bro, just don't get a kayak.
I'll just fucking life jacket on, Marquise.
I'll just wait.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
Bro, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not going to save me.
Bro, yes, it does.
They said you have a life jacket. He said, "Bro, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna save me." Once this is one of them corny black kids. I'm gonna be honest. It's one of them corny black kids that try to fit in. It doesn't change the situation, but
Bro, I'll just find a way. Hey. Yeah, they think I'm about to go back.
now I know y'all heard the monkey sounds. Asshole. Young kids, asshole. Like, that should be called out. Nothing wrong with calling all this stuff out. Call out both sides.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
I'm going to die.
Standing right
Hold
now.
on.
You have to go.
I'm just
You
trying to
did that to
get
get
over
over there. We taught him how to swim.
Oh, so I can just like hold on the back of the
Right here if you want.
Yeah, I might drown.
You won't drown.
You won't
Try
drown.
to get
You're not going to drown. I promise you won't drown.
There you go.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Huh?
Hey,
What's your
Oh,
name?
my name is Marquise. But everybody calls me Mark because I go to like Danella.
are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay getting over here. And they think I'm about to swim back. I can't even swim.
Good job right now.
Probably gonna hold on this. And it's my first time here.
It's your
Oh, first time? Well, welcome.
Yeah.
How'd you get over here?
Yeah, what
They made me
happened?
take that way over there and they had 2 life jackets on. I'm never coming back with y'all.
Yo, we told you if you were coming, we had a life jacket.
Life jacket.
makes you float.
This ain't even for a big kid, this for a little kid.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm never coming back with y'all.
Now, it's funny because I actually did a video on this, and all right, let me kind of move beyond, because what it does is it always shows like the people that you're connected to, their comments. So I don't want to do all that. And there were certain comments that I saw on here, though, like this one. I just happened to see it. Maybe it wasn't this exact one. But this person said that dad laughed the entire time at what these boys were saying to that kid who was terrified of drowning. He laughed the entire time. His wife told him to stop laughing. He knew he was filming, so he tried to stifle his laugh. They saved him, but their children found it funny as well. They hid their smiles and laughs. This is so sad to watch. Like, shouldn't the takeaway be, like, you see how the goalposts keep getting moved? Shouldn't the takeaway be, after a Nolan Wells situation, white family comes to the aid of black kid that could have been the next Nolan Wells? Like, at least give the white people credit. There's, even when you look at the caption, let me take a look at the caption. I believe the caption, hold on. Following Nolan Wells' recent incident, white teenagers in Florida left their black friend Marquise to drown in a river while taunting him with slurs and monkey noises from the shore. I don't think they left him to drown. Based on what the lady said after the video, it was waist high water. You see this guy kind of standing here as well. So Doesn't matter. You're still scared of the water, but you see how everything gets like exaggerated. Marquise couldn't swim well and was wearing an ill-fitting child-sized life jacket. A kayaking family rescued him as he feared for his life. Bro, don't get in the fucking water if you can't. Like, he said his friends expected him to swim back alone. This kind of racist behavior is disgusting and should be investigated. Do we at all celebrate the white people who will never, ever turn against their own kind to help black people? Like, what are we doing? But instead, this is the comment that gets 8,000 likes. That the dad laughed the entire time. Oh, the dad that allowed his family got involved in a situation to help this black kid and bring him to safety, who based on what this person in the post is saying, was fearful of his life. We just have to be very careful in getting caught up in this race baiting stuff. And the lady actually put out a post, and it's not, the lady actually put out a second post. The mother put out a post. I want to take a look at that real quick. Let's take a look at that if I can find it. If I can find it. 1 second. All right, let me. All right. Let me turn the volume up, reset this for y'all, make sure it's on the screen. All right. My bad. Every time I was trying to reset it with it not being on mute, so that way you could hear the first words that she said. But
just wanted to address this video real quick of my family and I helping this young boy across the river the other day. Most of the comments are really positive, but some of them are really negative, and some girl made a video making some wild claims about us, so I just wanted to address a few things. First of all, when we were first paddling down the river, all we could hear was their voices. Sound travels really easy on water, so we could only hear voices. We could not see them. We couldn't hear exactly what they were saying. As we got closer, I could kind of make out what they were saying more. I could tell it was more serious than I first thought, but I still didn't understand what was going on. As we got close enough, I noticed that the voices sounded like teenagers, and then once we could see them, that's when I noticed the entire situation unfolding. He first said that he couldn't swim and that they gave him a life jacket, but when I saw him, the life jacket was really small. Water, I'm on the water all the time. Water is so unforgiving, it can turn deadly in a split second. There was a current that day, there was wind, and he said he couldn't swim well. That was a recipe for disaster, so I knew right then and there I wasn't going to leave him to just cross on his own. So like I said before, I didn't understand what was going on. They were laughing, they were bantering back and forth, they were talking crap to each other. I didn't know what was happening, but then they also seemed like they knew each other, they were friends. So I was so confused, but I helped him across. He got the back of our board. Paddle boards are hard to get on if you're in like waist deep water. They're kind of hard to get up on. So he just hung to the back of the board. We got him straight across the river. And then as we were dropping him off, he was like,
so just maybe a correction on my end. The water was waist deep where he was getting in. It may not have been waist deep all the way across. So that is something to point out. But even more reason, don't get in water if you can't swim with no adults and your friends. Like
talking crap to his friends and sticking up for himself. So my husband was laughing, like, good for him. He was sticking up for himself. Anyway, this whole situation was such a learning moment for not only my family, but for that boy and the friends. And obviously, God wanted the internet to see it too, because this was a huge learning moment. I know for myself and my kids and my husband. Absolutely unreal. Anyway, Marquise has gotten home safe and sound. He has checked in. Everything's okay. Hopefully this was a learning lesson for him and an eye-opener as to who he keeps his company. One thing I do want to point out that I noticed about all the negative comments and like the people dissecting this and saying it's not good enough or we should have done more, most of them are actually the same color as me. So that's kind of weird to notice. You would think that everyone would be happy that a life was saved. So I just wanted.
You would think that everybody would be happy that a life was saved. Now, I wonder what type of white people were complaining, saying that she didn't do enough. Probably the same type of white people that believe that we need, that black people are disadvantaged and they need social program. Y'all get where I'm going. We don't need to get into this whole thing. Yeah, that's Bubbles. Yo, maybe the family was just helping a kid. That's all. No color. Just a kid. That's it. Like, maybe the family was just helping a kid. Like, why does it have to? But this, and I'm only saying this so we can look out for this type of stuff. We can look out for this type of stuff. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I got a video that I want to show y'all. it's going back and forth about showing this to y'all. We'll show it. All right. Video about Netanyahu. So a lot of people seem to be nervous. I haven't been following what's been going on with Iran and the war, and I heard that thank God for Israeli intelligence that they found out that Iran was going to try to assassinate Donald Trump, and now Trump is coming out saying that he's getting ready, or that he's on every assassination list, and it's just like it's almost like you could look at it a few different ways. Didn't we just kill their second the supreme leader that replaced the first one that we killed? I don't know. I really haven't been following it, but I saw something talking about, what's up, Dad? I saw somebody talking about a new supreme leader, and I don't know exactly where this is, but obviously it seems like the same type of setup to get us involved in another war. All this is just trying to get us involved in another war. Once again, we're back. Now we have reason. Now, because it's the reason why it's almost laughable is because we believe that we could just kill whoever and whenever. We believe that we could just kidnap presidents. We believe that we can do whatever we want to whatever country and let them even threaten, or let the thought of a threat or Israel tell us that there's a threat to the president. And now all of us, what are we going to do? We're going to justify it. Yeah, we got to invade. We got to put boots on the ground. And we know where this is going to go, and who does it benefit? So when I see this video right here, I just happen to come across it with Netanyahu. I'll share it with y'all, but more so to just tell us to just be careful. Just be careful of and maybe this is out of our hands, but I think the more and more of us that wake up to this BS, that won't just condone it, won't just celebrate it, won't just go along with it because our political party says that we should go along with it. I think that puts us in a better position to stop this stuff, bro. We are spreading evil throughout the world, bro. We're putting evil out throughout the world, and you put evil out in the universe, that impacts everybody. And ultimately, it's going to come back to us at one point or another. And the shame of it all is it usually comes back on the people that don't send it out. Now, as you can see on the screen, it says South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham dies at 71. I don't really have much to say on that. You know, tragic when anybody dies, losing life, tragic. Yeah, but I just sent this on the screen, but I don't, nothing really to comment on at this point for me. Let's take a look at the video.
Drawing down of Prime Minister, will that drawing down of foreign aid from the United States to Israel be compensated by the proposal to have a merging of some sort between our Pentagon and your military?
Yeah, I'm calling it from aid to partnership. So we take away the money that is given to Israel, which is one part, but the other part is we co-invest in equal measures in the new technologies that are needed to give our military and your military the advantage. So there are some.
Yeah, so this is what I heard. This is what I heard when he said that. So, of course, what have a lot of Republicans and conservatives been calling out? Right? Israel and Bibi Netanyahu need Republicans and conservatives to be on their side. Right? Because obviously the Democrats, liberals, they're more along the lines of, you know, even though Kamala and Biden never asked for a ceasefire, but the actual voters, and with the Socialist Party and Mamdani and them making that movement, and where you're seeing a lot of, you know, what we thought was untouchable AIPAC money, and a lot of those people are losing, and there's a shift. So obviously there's more on that side that are more so along with the lines of calling out Israel. Those are the Free Palestine folk. It's more so on that side than the conservatives and the liberals, unless you're talking about more of the libertarians and the people that have spoke out, whether it's like Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, Candace Owens, Theo Vaughn, and others, right? So Bibi Netanyahu needs the Republicans to be on his side. He needs the conservatives to be on his side. They've been complaining about us giving our money to Israel. So what's the answer to that? Bibi says, yo, no more aid. No more aid. Let's just have a partnership. Now, what I think is going to happen is they probably realize that, yo, we got enough money and rich people that support Israel, Zionists, whatever, that support Israel, to where it's like, yo, we'll put up money. We'll put up money. And then if we can have some type of partnership and be locked in with the U.S., then that may be even better than the U.S. providing us aid. And then if we see each other as partnerships, rather than a lot of conservatives and Republicans having bitterness towards us just giving money towards a foreign country, right? Now it'll be a bit different. Now it's like, well, hey, we're this is a joint partnership. They got some skin in the game as well. It's seen in a different light. A lot of people have criticized when it comes to the Iraq war and different wars where Israel did not send any troops to. A lot of people are saying like, hey, we provide aid to them. They didn't send any. So there's a lot of criticism in the air when it comes to the aid that is being supplied to Israel. So now Bibi Netanyahu has figured out a way to get conservatives on board, to get more Republicans on board with us having some sort of partnership. Why? Why? We see where this is going. We see where this is going. And this is just another, it's just like Trump just continues to fail us as a country. Trump just continues to fail us as a country. It has to be said. He is failing us. This is bad leadership. Stop the war, bro. You should have never been there in the first place. The greedy nature of Trump, the greedy nature of America, the might is right mentality. We should have never done anything with Venezuela. Now we think, like, what gives us this mindset, this mentality that we just think that we're better than everybody? This is the same thing that we've called out amongst, got to keep it real, call it straight, with the Jewish culture saying you're the chosen ones. No, you're not. I just had a conversation with a Jewish buddy of mine, and he was telling me how he sees that in his kids, how his kids growing up, like that chosen one mentality, how you see that your kids are growing up thinking they're better than everybody, and how he had to address it. It's a real thing. America, we have this same type of chosen one mentality. Maybe that's why we see a good partnership. We have this chosen one mentality where we think that we can do things to other countries that we would never accept being done to us. It's not right. It's not principled. It's morally wrong. There's no integrity when it comes to that. Doing something to somebody else just because you're bigger and stronger than them. Do we need to use examples from high school? Who respects the bully that picks on the smallest kid in the class? Go bully somebody else your own size and then see how it goes. But you never want to bully that person. You just want to bully and take advantage and take all the resources of the smallest kids in the class. What is the difference between that and what we're doing right now? How are we living in America thinking that we can control that we have some type of control and say over the Strait of Hormuz or whatever strait, I think that's the name of it. Who are we in America to think that, oh, well, you know, the founding fathers, and if you believe in this, that we said that we can get involved in Venezuela, so we can do whatever we want with Venezuela because, you know, they're in the same hemisphere as us. So there's doctrine that shows that so we can do whatever. It's like, what? Like who stands on this? Who's condoning this behavior?
Unbelievable projects. So we invest jointly and take the fruits equally. You move from aid to partnership, and I think that represents what Israel is. And remember, the other thing is that we share with America unbelievable intelligence to save American life. General Keegan has said that when he was working in American intelligence, what Israel was giving the United States was worth, he said, 5 CIAs. Now, I don't
what Israel was giving the United States was worth 5 CIAs. Like, we just allow ourselves to be disrespected and just tolerate it. Like, we just allow people to just play in our face and we just tolerate it. Israeli intelligence is worth 5 CIAs. All right, well, what happened with 9/11? Should we assume that because Israeli intelligence is far superior than American intelligence, that maybe y'all may have known a little bit? Because after 9/11, I know Bibi Netanyahu was celebrating it, saying that this was the something that was going to be extremely beneficial to Israel. So then stuff like that just makes me wonder. You said that your intelligence is that of 5 CIAs based on the things that have come out with a lot of these documentaries. I know Tucker did one, and you look at some of these things that have come out, it seems like America knew and was following these particular people that were flying these planes, and somehow it got lost in the salt. So if you had 5 times the intelligence, makes me wonder. Then you hear stories about the dancing Israelis and all this stuff, and it makes you wonder.
I'm not trying to be mathematically exact, but Israel's contributions to America's defense are important. Our technology is incredible. And since yours is incredible too, and you're the great champion of liberty and free markets, I think the meshing of our two great countries of talent would strengthen America's position, competitive position, both in the economy.
Yeah. I think this is why, see, I've never read the entire Bible. I've never read the entire Bible. But I also don't live by it. So I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like, for all the people that are Christian and that claim that Jesus is their Lord and Savior, have you read the entire Bible? Because just in the bit that I've read, I don't understand how this can be a partnership. Like, I really don't understand. Help me understand how, when you read the Old Testament, you can think that people that follow that can be in partnership with the people that follow the New Testament. I don't get it. But doesn't matter. It's because nobody's really Christian. None of like the Christian culture. I'm sorry, not you in particular. I know you're Christian, but Christian culture, it's not Christian, bro. Like, you wouldn't fall victim to this BS, bro. Like, you would almost think that in a lot of ways that if you had, like, this is why I say, I don't allow religion to dictate, how I feel about somebody or see. Now, what you do based on that religion, if you look at your religion and think that, oh, based on my religion, this allows me to do this, and if it doesn't align with my principles, then of course, I'm calling that out. But just based on somebody's religion, I don't care what religion you are. Like, can we just embrace that golden rule of just treating others the way that we want to be treated? Cool. Whatever religion you are, doesn't matter. Treat others the way you want to be treated. But you would almost think that, like, is that not the greatest example of people playing in our face by saying Judeo-Christian values? You would almost think that those would be the ones that contradict the most. But it's like, instead you have, like, last time I checked, Muslims thought that Muslims see Jesus as a Messiah. I don't think that Judaism sees Jesus as a Messiah. So it's just mind-boggling. It's one of those things that makes absolutely no sense, but I see how it happens. Because just like we were talking about earlier, when it comes to Jay-Z and black people, you see people that align themselves with the very same things that make absolutely no sense for them to align with, and that support the things that they say they're going up against. It's like BB and Jay-Z, like, did they go to the same school or something? Like, how did they figure this shit out? Like who? Like, I don't. Let's keep going.
Economic marketplace and in the military battlefield in many important ways. So that's the idea. The idea is to take away aid, one-sided aid, and move it into, bilateral investments for common benefit.
It certainly.
Well, gear up. Get your prayers ready. Get your meditations ready. We're going to need them. We are definitely going to need them, because it really seems like the powers that be are trying their hardest to get us into World War III. And we have the ability to stop it. We have to believe that. We have the ability to stop that. Let's take a look at, we'll look at the first bit of this next video that I wanted y'all to check out. I think this is, yeah, this is it. We'll take a look at this. Hold on 1 second. Copy. Let me copy this real quick.
Space it enters.
I was watching this earlier and I thought it was dope. There's actually, hold on. All right, so let me ask y'all in the chat. There's two types of videos that we can watch, kind of on the same topic. The one video was this that talks about Jesus and what he was teaching and was supposed to be vibrational frequency, and that's what consciousness is and all this other stuff. And then there's another video that I'm kind of leaning towards, I gotta admit, where it was just this guy pretty much giving game on like, yo, whatever you were taught, it ain't that. That's not the true story of how this thing went. Hold on, let me yeah, I think I'm leaning towards that. I wasn't gonna play this video, but let me see if I can find it. I looked at it yesterday. Here it is. But this is more like they lied to you about Jesus. I think I want to watch that, if that's okay with y'all. Let's share this one instead. Hopefully this is okay to review. Shout out to Sean Clayton. Sean Clayton. I wanted to see if it's okay to review, but hopefully it's okay. Hopefully he don't mind. Hopefully he doesn't mind.
They lied to you about Jesus.
I got a little bit. See, I got rid of those copyright strikes, and now I'm getting a little, I'm getting a little bold. All right, let's take a look at this. Let me. Yo, Alex is funny, man. What's up, Alex? Hope all is well, brother. All right, let's get into this.
They lied to you about Jesus Christ. What 99% of people were never taught about Jesus is going to blow your mind. The version of Jesus that they taught you wasn't just wrong. It was the greatest lie ever told across human history. And you tried to make sense of it. Tried to believe that a blood payment 2,000 years ago was somehow the answer to your suffering right now. But it never clicked because it was never supposed to. What you were handed is just a story written by the people who wanted you blind. We're about to go all the way back to the source, the Aramaic, the King James scrubbed versions of the Gospels. And we're going to see what Rome voted out, the Book of Enoch and the church, and everything that was buried on purpose. This video, you are going to learn 4 things: the truth and the lies of Jesus Christ, his actual purpose, and why the conversation with Mary Magdalene is the most important one he ever had. So we're going to start with the proof. In the year 325, the Roman Emperor Constantine called the Council of Nicaea. Rome was losing control of its empire. They needed a unified religion to keep the population in line. So they took the teachings of a mystic from the Middle East and they stripped out the science, they stripped out the biology, and they voted on the books that now belong in the Bible, and they bumped and burned the rest.
What I just heard was just to give a little, not to take too much time. Um, if you love Jesus, it seems like whoever is pushing this current state of Christianity had absolutely nothing to do with Jesus. And this is what I've said all along. Like, if you actually listen to even what they tell you about Jesus in the book, if you listen to what they tell you about Jesus in the book, it seems like, yeah, I don't think Jesus would be okay with like organized religion. Like, I think he kind of died opposing organized religion. But then after he died, years later, people created an organized religion in his name. Like, that seems pretty disrespectful to me, but to each their own.
They thought they erased all the truth, and candidly, they were wrong, because what's done in the dark will always come in the light. In 1945, a farmer in Egypt dug up a sealed jar at the Nag Hammadi. Inside that jar were the books Rome tried to burn: the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, the Gospel of Mary. And 2 years later, in 1947, the shepherds found the Dead Sea Scrolls in the caves of Qumran. These texts sat perfectly preserved in the dirt for 2,000 years. They predated Roman edits. They showed the original math. They show us the true frequencies of the Christos. We have to look at the translation. And this is where it gets really interesting and the trap was actually set. In the King James Bible, it's translated from Greek. Jesus did not speak Greek. He spoke Aramaic. Aramaic is a quantum language, and I'll tell you what I mean by this. It's based on vibration and frequency. Greek is a language of commerce and statecraft. So when you translate Aramaic to Greek to English, you lose the entire math and actually the context it was built off of. So I want you to look at the word sin as an example. The modern church tells you sin is a permanent stain on your soul. They tell you it leads to eternal damnation. And in Aramaic, the word is actually kata. Kata is simply an archery term. It means you miss the mark. You do not burn in hell for missing the mark. You pull the bow back, you recalibrate, and you aim again.
Sounds like they were controlling people with extremism back then, and they're still using extremism to control people right now. There's a big difference between what we believe and understand as sin compared to missing the mark. You're sin, you're punished, shame on you. Compared to your parents saying, oh, you just missed, just try again. Take another shot. Big difference, right? One is used to control, the other is used to inspire.
And this is a biological correction that you can do with your mind, your heart, and your soul. Now let's go and look at the word repent. The church tells you.
And that control is based on a fear-based control. The inspiration is based on, yo, this just is what it is. Like, yo, you missed, try again. You'll learn, make sure you learn from that miss that you had, recalibrate, right? And then
your heart and your soul. Now let's go and look at the word repent. The church tells you repent means to grovel, to beg a master for mercy. And the Aramaic word for this is tav. Tav means to return, to turn back to source code inside of you. I want you to look at the Gospel of John. English text says, in the beginning was the Word. The Greek translation used the term logos. In the original framework, logos does not mean spoken word. It means the organizing frequency of the universe, the vibration that turns chaos, which we call our lives, into matter. And so Jesus was the logos made in flesh. He was the chaos that was brought into the singular form, and he was the highest possible frequency anchored in a human body. Now, we want to look at what we call the hijack, or what I call the demiurge, bait and switch. So the modern church was built by a man named Paul. Paul came.
Before we get into this, how many times have we talked about like what God is to us and why it's so important for when Finn always reminds us that, you know, Jesus taught that God is within us. The kingdom of God, heaven, whatever it is within us, right? But why don't they want us to understand that? Why don't they want us to embrace that? That would go against their control and all of the things that they're trying to push. He mentioned something. Let me go back, if you don't mind, about 5 seconds ago.
And so Jesus was the logos made in flesh. He was the chaos that was brought into the singular form, and he was the highest possible frequency anchored in a human body.
That's how I see God. God is a status. Whether you see Jesus, God is a status that, in my opinion, we all should strive for. Nobody's going to play a perfect game, right? But does that mean that you go into a football game saying, yeah, man, I hope that I only miss one tackle, that I only give up one touch? No, you go into the game saying, I'm going to execute and be perfect on this play, and I'm going to be perfect on the next play. Are you going to have certain slips and falls and mess ups and whatnot? Yes. But that doesn't mean that you go into it. You strive to have the top goal. And that's what forces you throughout the week, throughout the year, to make sure that you're working hard to live up to that particular standard. But everything that we are taught when it comes to religion is something that's disconnected. Like, oh, that's Jesus. And why do they want to disconnect us from God? Why do they want to disconnect us from Jesus? In my opinion, it's because when they disconnect us from it, then what can they do? They can connect themselves with controlling our relationship with Jesus, controlling our relationship with God. So therefore, they can tell us like, oh, if you sin, this is your punishment. This is your punishment. Jesus said, the pastor can tell you, politicians can tell you, anybody who's powerful can tell you, and they can control the relationship that we have with Jesus. So therefore, they end up controlling us. Because why? Because we're scared that if we don't listen to them, we're going to burn in hell. It's like, this is fairy tale stuff, bro.
Now, we want to look at what we call the hijack, or what I call the demiurge bait and switch. So the modern church was built by a man named Paul. Paul candidly never met Jesus, okay? Paul was a Roman citizen. He was a Pharisee. And Paul took a path of biological liberation and turned it into an external religion. The Nag Hammadi texts describe a force called the demiurge. The demiurge is a blind creator god, a false god of power and control. And the demiurge feeds on human fear. And aren't we living in it right now? It feeds on submission, and it feeds on guilt. So the more you have that, the more powerful you make the demiurge. And Paul's theology maps perfectly to this demiurge. Paul created the doctrine of substitutionary atonement, the idea that a God requires a blood sacrifice to forgive his own children. And that's a trauma bond. Jesus did not come to pay a blood debt to a false god. He came to break the control system. And the church tells you that you are born broken. They tell you that you need a priest to talk to God, and they insert themselves as the middleman, and they collect the toll. And it's...
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. And I'm not going to act like I didn't. All right, so I didn't know he was going to say that. But I also can't act like I didn't hear some of this, because I was briefly listening to it when I worked out yesterday. So obviously I can't act like I ain't know. I did not know he was going to say that. But I didn't want y'all saying like, yo, he trying to act like he ain't know that. I did not know. But this is all just obvious. This is the same stuff that we've always been talking about. It's all about control. They want to insert themselves. This is no different than when I complain about Democrats. Democrats don't ever want to fix our problems. If they did, they wouldn't be able to insert themselves as the leaders that we need to trust and rely on to fix the problem. If my plumbing system, if my pipes are working correctly, I don't need a plumber. So that means the plumber doesn't make any money. So if a plumber wants to get rich, what does he have to rely on? My house having issues with the pipes. This is all the same. This is why when Democrats and liberals appeal to the victimhood of Black people, they know damn well that giving people who are already suffering things for free and not having them work for it is only going to cripple them even more. They're not stupid. They would never teach their kids that type of nonsense. They would never allow somebody to give their kids something and rob them of the opportunity to earn it for themselves. But they do that shit with Black people because Black people are so just confused. Just so confused that they just accept it.
It's a great business model. And if the church is telling the truth, then why does their own book contradict them? And we're going to go through some of these contradictions here in a minute. I want you to look at John chapter 10, verse 34. Jesus looks directly at the people and says, "Is it not written in your law, I have said, ye are gods?" Look at Luke chapter 17, verse 21. The kingdom of God is within you. Now let's look.
This is the book saying this. Listen to what he just said. When's the last time your pastor told you that you are God and God is within you? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't go to church. But I'm asking y'all, based on the way people act and behave, it doesn't seem like it.
Book contradict them. And we're going to go through some of these contradictions here in a minute. I want you to look at John chapter 10, verse 34. Jesus looks directly at the people and says, "Is it not written in your law, I have said, ye are gods?" Look at Luke chapter 17, verse 21. The kingdom of God is within you. Now let's look at John chapter 14, verse 12. Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these.
That has to be a lie. That has to be a lie.
Luke chapter 17, verse
That has to
21.
be a lie. I'm
The
looking it
kingdom
up.
of God is within you. Now let's look at John chapter 14, verse 12. Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these.
We got to share that. Hold on. I just looked it up on chat. John 14:12 is one of Jesus's most discussed statements. All right. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father. Jesus is speaking to his disciples during the Last Supper, preparing them for his departure. So he's saying, yo, I'm about to die. I know I'm on my way out of here. These people want me dead. But whoever believes in me, you'll do the work that I do. The same thing that I do, you'll do. We drop the baton, you're going to pick it up, and you're going to take it farther than I'm taking it. I did not grow up in the church. When I was going to church as a kid, that's not what I was taught. That's not the energy of the black church. I don't know about other churches. Y'all tell me, is that the energy of your church? That you can do greater work? You can be greater than Jesus. Matter of fact, you should be greater than Jesus. Shouldn't this be any relationship? Isn't this what, once again, we go back to manhood, right? A father should take it here so the son can then take it here. We stand on our father's shoulders, right? Sounds like this is exactly what Jesus was saying. Why aren't the churches teaching us this? Let me get back to it.
So the external church tells you that you are a worthless sinner. Jesus tells you that you are God, that the kingdom of heaven is inside you, and that you will do greater things than he did. I want you to sit with that for a minute, because you can't have both. One is a control system. The other one is an activation protocol. Now, I want you to look at the Lord's Prayer. This is one of my favorite ones. In Aramaic, it does not start with Our Father who art in heaven. It starts with Abun de Bashwamaya. Abun means the birthing process. It means the father, mother of the cosmos. The divine union of the Abba Amma. If you don't know what that is, that's the masculine feminine. Now here's the hard one to say.
Let me run that back because I didn't see this part of it. I didn't see this much into the video. Hold on. That was a little bit hard for me to understand. Hope y'all may be a little bit quicker than me, but let me kind of take that in a little bit more.
You did. I want you to sit with that for a minute, because you can't have both. One is a control system. The other one is an activation protocol. Now, I want you to look at the Lord's Prayer. This is one of my favorite ones. In Aramaic, it does not start with Our Father who art in heaven. It starts with Abun de Bashwamaya. Abun means the birthing process. It means the father, mother of the cosmos. The divine union of the Abba Amma. If you don't know what that is, that's the masculine feminine. Now here's the hard one to say. Debwashmaya means the light and the sound that radiate through the universe. Jesus was teaching us to align our biology to the creative frequency of the universe. Think about the modern canonical Bible. It's the Roman New York Times. It's a propaganda piece written by the victors. They took...
Bro is going in, man. Hold on. You're moving too fast, bro. Hold on.
Jesus was teaching us to align our biology to the creative frequency of the universe. Think about the modern canonical Bible. It's the Roman New York Times. It's a propaganda piece written by the victors. They took the true angelic framework of the cosmos and demonized it. The forces the church called the demons are often suppressed ancient frequencies of the earth. They look at the exact angelic forces that teach humanity's sovereignty and label them evil. We're going to get into those watchers here in a second.
I don't know why. This probably has nothing to do with it, but it just makes me think of, and we definitely got to get into the watchers. That's the book of Enoch. But like, this is why yoga is seen as like bad in Christianity. Isn't yoga seen as demonic or something like that? Maybe. Sorry to go on a tangent.
Humanity's sovereignty and label them evil. We're going to get into those watchers here in a second. They restricted your access to the unseen world to keep you dependent on their priests, the protocols, and their dogma. And this is why they buried the book of Enoch. The book of Enoch exposes the origin of the control matrix. It maps the true architecture of the universe. It exposes the archons and the watchers and the exact forces that built the demiurge control grid. The church hid Enoch because if you understand the angelic architecture, you do not need their permission to access it. Yeshua understood this architecture. His actual purpose was overriding the archonic control system, and he was showing humanity how to bypass the demiurge entirely. So the church now goes through the process of defending its monopoly by using one specific verse, and this is John chapter 14, verse 6. The English says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." The church uses this as a weapon. They built a VIP club and they made Jesus the bouncer.
They built a VIP club and they made Jesus the bouncer. This is the same gatekeeping that goes on right now. The same gatekeeping when you want to try to get something done for your community and you get these people that talk a good game and then you have a program that solves a lot of these issues and you're doing it for free and we gotta, no, we can't do that. We gotta hold off on what? I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just asking you. I'm not asking for any money contributions or anything. I'm just saying, like, yo, you just pass this out to the kids. Oh, you want to gatekeep. You want to prevent me from doing certain things because you don't want me to be what Jesus wanted me to be. See, Jesus wanted me to take the baton and take it farther than he took it, right? He wanted me to run farther than him. But see, people who want to oppress us, people who want to keep us down so they can control us with their power, they never want to allow us to realize that we're supposed to take things further than they. Any good teacher, any good mentor would want their student or mentee to go further than them, right?
So we have to look at the Aramaic. The phrase "I am" translates to Inanna. Inanna means the divine presence of the Creator inside of you. He was speaking as the Christos frequency. He was saying the Inanna, the divine presence inside your own biology, is the only way to reach the source. It's an internal map. It's a biological requirement. You cannot reach the Creator through an external building. You reach it through the Inanna. And this brings us to the Pistis Sophia. a text discovered in 1773. And this one is going to blow your mind when we get into it. In this text,
we're going to have to save that for another day. We're going to have to save that for another day. Shout out to Sean Clayton. If y'all want, this is what we'll do. We'll review the second half of this or whatever's left on Friday, or maybe I'll see y'all before then. But feel free to go check out his video, Sean Clayton. I'm gonna be watching a whole bunch of his videos. This is my first time finding out about him, so I definitely want to tap in with a lot of his videos. And these are the type of people that we need to support. These are the type of people that we need to support. So, yeah, I may reach out to this brother. Does he have other videos? Who's this? Oh, okay, so he does. We may need to interview him. We may need to interview, bro. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to wrap this up rather quickly. What's up, Randy? What's up, my brother, Randy? We're going to wrap this up pretty quickly and just do our breath work. So we're going to do 4 cycles. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Just to recalibrate, right? Just to recalibrate, making sure that we're on the right frequency, finishing up this show. We talked about a lot of heavy stuff, as we typically do, but we want to make sure that we're also moving with a certain lightness through the world, that we're not wearing all this and carrying all this baggage. And a lot of this stuff, while we cover these heavy things, are to get them off your chest. So therefore, you can't be controlled by all of the heavy pressure from all of these different areas that want to oppress us and want to control us. So hopefully when we get off these shows, we are able to move with a certain level of just a higher frequency, of course, but also to where it's like, yo, I'm not going crazy walking around this world that it feels like I'm going crazy and it feels like I'm the only crazy person, or I got to be crazy because maybe you're the only person in your friend group or your family that sees things a particular way. So hopefully that's what this provides. But let's get into our breath work. If you are in a safe place, feel free to close your eyes. I'm going to close mine. As always, we focus on inhaling positive energy, letting it brew, and then exhaling positive energy and sending that out like radio frequency waves. We got to send out the right signals in order to attract the right things and opportunities back our way. So with that being said, we will do a 4-second inhale. Ready, begin. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Go through one more time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. All right, y'all know we come here to do elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards, man, raising our standards across the board, raising our consciousness, our frequency, all of that good stuff, man. We know, and sometimes it's taking ourselves away from our phones, taking ourselves away from the distractions, the entertainment, and just sitting with ourselves and just really processing a lot of this stuff. A lot of these answers, I think, that we are looking for and are seeking, just like what we've just reviewed in the Bible, they can be found within. A lot of this stuff, they have to convince us so much that certain stuff makes sense that we can clearly see doesn't. They have to do the hard work. When we just kind of sit with ourselves and avoid the distractions, sometimes stuff just comes to us because it's the state of nature. It's what makes sense. So To each their own. Let's make sure we're getting to that bag as we always set out to do. Let's make this our greatest week ever. Let this be the week. Let this be the week that we look back on and say that week changed everything. What's in my bag? And we know what the bag is for those that don't. All the things that we're doing throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month that are going to ultimately add up into what's going to dictate what we create in our lives, our reality. So the things that I like to focus on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity, and always got to have that big shaker of perspective. Shout out to Glabo. All right. We'll finish off with a quote from Big Bro. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are wasteful of the one thing that is truly precious. Seneca. Let's repeat that one more time. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are wasteful of the one thing that is truly precious. Seneca. Some wise words, Big Bro, to send us off on. Appreciate that. With water, not beer. All right. I'll see you, Phyllis, Critical, Bubbles. Have a blessed day, everyone. Mick Smith. All right. We're going to tap in. Yeah, I think he's smart as well. Alex, Randy, whoever I may have missed. I think I just said Alex. Yo, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all soon. You.